Hello, hello, baddies.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Our numbers are hopping up, so we're going to give everyone a chance to hop in here. We are so excited for tonight. It is going to be very informative, very casual. You guys are welcome to use the chat box. We're going to ask that you turn your webcams off, so the only cameras that'll be on tonight will be our panelists and your lovely host.
How are you doing tonight, Jasmine?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited. I'm
Yeah.
rocking my Anna Uno bra. I
Woo,
had to
woo,
make sure I
woo.
pulled it out for tonight.
Yes. And I've got on my leopard for a little sexiness tonight too as well.
I see you. I see you.
Excited for the conversation this evening for sure.
Yes, tonight's going to be awesome. So we're just going to give everybody a couple of minutes to come in. We're watching those numbers jump up. It's going to be great. I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely conversations that need to be had. I know we talk about it a lot in our private Facebook group. A lot of the baddies come in and they get to asking questions, whether it be how do they get their body back into, wanting to have sex or just looking sexy in general or self-pleasure. So I'm excited just to hear what all of our panelists have to say.
And like my first introduction into the conversation about the impact of breast cancer on your sex life was in the YSD hot tub. Other than that, the doctors never mentioned it to me. And I really just felt like I was broken. It was like, what's happening to my body?
Right. And I think because everybody's so focused on just getting you through whatever your treatment is, then once you're done, they're just kind of like, well, okay, I guess you'll figure it out from there.
Absolutely. So if you are new here, we are For the Breast of Us. We are the first inclusive community for women of color affected by breast cancer. If you're not a woman of color, don't fret, don't log out. We love our baddie accomplices as well. There's a place for everyone here in our beautiful community. My name is Jasmine, and to my right is oh girl, I said right, but on the screen it pointed left. So
Right.
look this way. That's my lovely work wife, Marissa. Say, hey, girl, hey.
Hey girl, hey, how's everybody doing? I know today is World Cancer Day. Social media has been popping. My phone has been going off, and I love seeing everybody's posts today. So hopefully this is just carrying in to the rest of the evening.
Yes, and if you want to do a check-in, let us know where you're from in the chat box. We're really excited tonight. As leaders of the community for women of color, we recognize that typically we don't always have access to the same resources as everyone else. And so that's one of the reasons I'm super excited tonight is because I understand, even as a Black woman, the privilege that it is to be in Jacksonville, Florida, where I have access to Mayo Clinic and you have health if I wanted to, and MD Anderson. And so to have experts on from these great institutions, these great experts and leaders of incredible brands to be a part of this tonight is very exciting. So I'm excited for you guys.
Yes, lots of good information that's going to be shared for sure.
Yes. So I think we can go ahead and get started. The numbers will pop up, but everyone will join us as they join us. So our first topic tonight is self-care and self-pleasure. Helping us have this conversation. Helping us have this conversation are two incredible women. We have Dr. Jackie Thielen from Mayo Clinic. She's a board certified internal medicine. You know what? I think her audio isn't working. Internal medicine physician providing care at Mayo Clinic and the Women's Health Clinic. And we're going to get her online as soon as we can. And then we also have ALYSSA PRESSMAN. She is a licensed clinical therapist and certified sex and relationship coach. She specializes in pleasure and joy post trauma, grief, and with chronic illness. She loves supporting women and moving closer to themselves, to other women, and to creating lives that feel in deep alignment with their unique desires. She is a BRCA1 mutation carrier and a person living with chronic illness and pain. Reaching for joy and pleasure has been deeply healing for her, and she's passionate about supporting others in their healing journey. Everyone, let's welcome Dr. Thielen and ALYSSA.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? This is Dr. Thielen.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can hear you. And let me
All right.
send the request. Is that ALYSSA joining us right there?
Hello.
Hello, ALYSSA.
Hi.
And Dr. Thielen, you can hear us? You're good?
I can. I'm really disappointed that you guys can't see me because I was having a good hair day.
We hate to waste a good hair day. But we're
Yes.
so glad that we can hear you now.
Well, I am. Thanks for having me. And Alyssa, nice to meet you too.
So nice to meet you as well.
So our first question, and I think a lot of us can relate to this, after a breast surgery, you can feel awkward in your body. How can someone go about learning or relearning the sexual landscape of their body after a breast cancer diagnosis?
So
And
Alyssa, I don't know if the psychological piece first, or and you certainly have personal experience from a physician standpoint, and I have to, of course, note that I have not myself had breast cancer, but certainly have cared for many women who have. So I'm speaking as a physician, not personally. But I imagine it's very difficult to reassess where you were and where you are going to be. And I can certainly say from a medical standpoint, I generally tell women, and really all women, not just cancer patients, the reality is that our sexual experience is going to change over our lifespan. And it doesn't mean that it's going to disappear, but it's going to change through life. You know, we're a new lover, we're a more mature lover, we're before children, we're after children, we're young, we're old. And our experience is different over time. So it speaks to the fact that, yeah, when you have something as important as breast cancer and the treatments and the experience of that, that's also going to impact your sexual sense of self. And so after surgery, for example, you really do have to take a sort of an inventory of, okay, what do I feel? You know, our skin is a real sexual part of the experience. And so is there numbness? Can I feel this touch? Can I feel it here? Can I, is it burning? Is it whatever it is? But you sort of have to do that for yourself. And I do agree that that can be difficult if you're a person who's not comfortable with touching yourself.
Yeah.
so ALYSSA, from your perspective, feeling awkward in our body after a surgery, is there a process to go about relearning the sexual landscape of your body? I know I was, in preparing for this, I was learning about the concept of like mindful masturbation. I also was reading about learning your body by looking in a mirror and actually exploring your body. Are there any processes that women can take to start to reconnect? Because it is, you know, for me personally, it really did feel like this is not the body I was born with, and it's weird.
Yes. No, 100%. And just to echo what's been said is like, I like in this community, there's a lot of talk about how different we feel, but it is true that our bodies and our sexuality is going to change over time. And so just recognizing that like this community may face unique challenges that other people don't, but every single person is going to have to navigate the changing landscape of their physical body, of life circumstances, of their sexual desires, libido, needs. So one of the things is if you are uncomfortable with diving into self-pleasure and that's not something you do typically, or now with all the physical changes, you're like not ready to go there, I would say giving yourself as much touch and pleasure that is not sexual focused. So it's not like, it's almost like, how do I just touch my body without the pressure to perform? Because if we're only giving ourselves touch to like for performance, to have an orgasm, it can be a lot of pressure. And so what I like to tell people is like, spend time naked. You do not have to love what you're seeing right away, but getting used to seeing it over and over again, coming to a place of neutrality with it, and then leaving the door open to to move towards acceptance and loving it, knowing that that's going to ebb and flow. There's days where we look in the mirror and maybe we love it. Other days we're like, not into it today. So doing that, and if you are comfortable and you have a masturbation practice, I call it self-pleasuring, do it. That's the best way to relearn the landscape. Like for me, I talked about with my surgeries, it was like going through a second puberty in my mid-20s. I was so uncomfortable. My hormones were jacked up. My doctors were like, no, the mastectomy surgery doesn't mess with your hormones. I was having hot flashes, night sweats, like vaginal dryness. And so it took me time to just spend connecting with my body and seeing like what felt good now. And for me, my breasts were a big part and like the sensation of my nipples for orgasm. And so I needed space to grieve that and feel what even felt good. And my breasts were kind of off limits for a while until I felt ready. So like take your time, get naked, self-pleasure, and also touch yourself without pressure to perform.
And I think that's a great point, and I hope Dr. Rullo will touch on this a little later, especially when it comes to painful sex and how that can create an avoidance dynamic in relationships. Touching yourself without a sexual expectation can help alleviate some of that pressure.
Yes, and if you're partnered, having that also be a conversation of like, how do we foster intimacy without their pressure, so that every time this person touches me, I'm not like, they want something. That's good for anyone in relationships, but particularly if you go through surgeries and it changes your relationship to your body and your sexuality.
And I would say that that's a very good point. In general, that's how I counsel people in couples, is to certainly not pressure yourself to do penetrative activities even right off the bat. It's really about focusing on the non-penetrative pieces of what makes you feel good, and the sense of just being together and touch, which really sets up that more comfortable dynamic first.
Yeah, those are really great points. I know one of the other questions that we had come in is what should women consider when looking for a solo sex toy?
If it's their first time. And I joke about this, but it's like real life, is that Dr. Thielen, I met last year, and I'm 29 years old. This was the first conversation I'd ever had about a sex toy. And she really talked me through this is the kinds and these are the different kinds of lubricants as an adult. So that is necessary.
You allowed me to go there, but to be honest, I learned a lot of these things from Dr. Rullo, actually. Dr. Rullo and I were colleagues in the day when she worked at Mayo Clinic in Rochester. And, but other sex therapists have always told me too, when you see a vibrator you like, you'll know it. It's sort of like a penis. If you see a penis you like, you know it. If you see a vulva you like, you sort of know it. And everybody is different. Everybody has different preferences. And so you sort of have to, that's the hard part, is trying to figure out for yourself, because you got to get around the awkwardness. And I probably did tell you, Jasmine, you got to embrace the awkward.
And then it's like, come downstairs to the pharmacy and order one of these.
And, the more you see it, the more you touch it, the less awkward it becomes. And so that goes for women by themselves as well as with partners. It really is about allowing that mindfulness in the moment to sort of take over the awkwardness.
And what are your thoughts on that, ALYSSA? Any tips for women that are looking for their first solo sex toy post breast cancer? So one of the things that I did have to talk about with Dr. Thielen is painful sex, penetrative sex. So then we had to think you don't want this kind of vibrator, then you want something like this.
Yes. So my chronic illness, actually, for years, I could not have penetrative sex without pain, significant pain. And so for a lot of people that are navigating things like that, starting with external toys. So if this is your first ever time and you're a little bit feeling shy or uncomfortable, I would start with a small external vibrator. There's such a wealth of toys out there. It can be overwhelming. They do 65 different things and they have 22 settings, and like it's a lot. So I would say find the things that look appealing to you and try them out. And like one of the places to start is like start with a small bullet vibrator. You don't have to get the giant wands if you've never had one before, unless you look at it and you're like, ooh, that looks, I want to try that. I can use it on my back too. And then if you're wanting a toy that you can use internally, like a dildo, if it's your first one, you don't have to go for like the monster one, right? That looks scary, that you're terrified, you're never going to use. Just so like taking your time, looking through, there's a lot of people even on Instagram that do reviews of toys. And so you can really like, I pour through toy reviews to see what people say, to be like, oh, if people like it, are they saying things that I would also like to experience? So like, I'm a review reader majorly. And so like you start wherever you want. It might feel a little awkward at first, but take your time. And yeah, you'll kind of know when you see something, if it like piques your curiosity. You're like, I wonder about that one. Oh, this is a little bit out there too, but like for me, one of my first dildos that I got, before I would ever even use it on myself, I slept with it under my pillow for like weeks. Like, because I was just intimidated by it. And so I was like, maybe I'll just kind of build a relationship. And so just seeing it around made it less scary for me, so that when I went to use it, I was like, I know you.
Yeah.
Because before you said it, she built a relationship.
Right. That you say that, Alyssa, because, you know, to be honest, we use that a lot too, as sort of exposure, right? To sort of get things less scary. I've done that with speculum exams for women who are afraid of the speculum. So I had them touch it, hold it, and once I even let somebody take it home so that they could just be around it without that fear. So that's actually not a bad idea. But, you know, in general, for many women, it's about the clitoris, right? It's about clitoral stimulation. So don't take the pressure that you have to have something that you have to penetrate or stick inside yourself. It's really about remembering all the nerve endings of the clitoris and the labia and the outside of the vagina. That's really where a lot of the nerve endings are that are going to give you that stimulation that you're looking for.
Yeah. So, lack of confidence can also make someone feel uncomfortable initiating sex. How can we tap into our inner vixen? Like, not just learning the landscape, but really starting to get more confidence in ourselves as sexual beings when our body is so different.
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
take
a great
one.
question.
That's a great question. Sorry, Alyssa. I was going to take the easy one and say reading. It really is sometimes about just learning what you don't know. And there are some good books out there. If you don't have the opportunity to see a provider like a Dr. Rullo or a psychologist, Alyssa, I don't know if you see patients too regarding this, but there's a book called Beautiful You by Rosie Molinari that really sort of is a program. It's sort of taking again, inventory of your body and over a time, how to be okay with yourself. There's another book called Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski that, of course, I love the play on words on the title. It's not just focused about cancer patients, but all women, to sort of that acceptance as well as investigative of what feels good where and how. And just because we aren't comfortable and just because it's not something you've necessarily done in the past, as long as you have the curiosity and the willingness to be patient with yourself, it'll come. It's just about, again, being honest with yourself and not pushing yourself too fast or not pushing yourself at all.
Now, who are the authors? What is the author of Beautiful You? Is it Rosie?
Rosie Molinari, Molinary. Okay.
I'm going to drop these in the chat for you ladies, just in case you're interested. So this one is Beautiful You, and then the other one is Come As You Are.
And Alyssa, what tips would you have for that? How can we tap into our inner vixen and build our sexual confidence?
Yeah, so I would second the Come As You Are book. That is an incredible resource because sometimes what we need to know is like, just how our body works, and understanding that can take away from confusion. It's like sex ed for adults that we all deserved and nobody got. So that's the first piece. But I'd say like you're really tapping into an energy. And so where I like to start with people that are feeling disconnected from that are, what are the things that you do in your life that when you're doing them, you feel very vibrant and alive? They might have absolutely nothing to do with sex per se, but it's that energy where you feel really good, you feel connected. So it could be listening to music and dancing or cooking, or like, I mean, it really could span anything. And making sure that like you're tapping into those activities and like nourishing that part of you, and understanding that this really is an energy that you can tap into. And I'm always going to advocate self-pleasuring and like filling up your own cup and moving from that space. And like the more that you do that and the more that you tap into that, if you give yourself pleasure, even non-sexual, taking a bath, massaging lotion or oil into your body and your skins, anything like that where you're really nourishing your body and signaling like you're important, you matter. This is important for me to spend time doing that. It can awaken the part of you that might be dormant. That's like, especially if you're coming through treatment and you're just focusing on surviving. Well, what about on the other side, your quality of life and the deservingness you have to thrive and feel good in your body again, knowing that it might take time to feel safe, right? So if we're just pushing to be like, how do I feel like a vixen right away, when you're like, I barely made it, you know, so like spending that time really nourishing yourself and creating safety in your body so that when you want to like take it up a notch, that feels available and accessible to you.
Yeah, I think that is great advice.
I was just going to add to that. I definitely agree with that, Alyssa. And, you know, it's also about being relaxed.
Yes.
In order for the body to work appropriately, it needs to feel safe and comfortable. And so starting with the basics of just being okay just to be in your own skin, be it in the bathtub or just giving your foot massage, who knows, something really quite straightforward it can be. It's just about paying attention to calming your breath and relaxing your musculature and allowing for a peace really to be able to come to you, because then your body can get to those next levels when you are ready.
Yeah, I love that. So vaginal dryness is a common side effect that a lot of women talk about, especially after cancer treatment or during cancer treatment. Are there any different types of lubricants that you both would recommend?
There was
Alyssa,
one that you recommended for me, Dr. Thielen, that I really liked, and I can't think of what the name is right now.
Probably Uberlube.
Yes, I really like that one. Wait, can you guys first explain the differences in lubricants?
The difference really, there's different kinds of lubricants, but in general, the big groups are water-based and silicone. Some are oil, like coconut oil, but in general, it's silicone or water-based, and some of them are hybrids where they try to do both at the same time, which really doesn't make sense to me because they are very different. Water-based, of course, are going to dissipate after friction, right? So that you're gonna go away a little quicker. So sometimes with prolonged activity, you may have to reapply. Silicone has a much more slickness to it, and it's got a little bit more staying power. So you may not necessarily need to reapply. The thing is, though, within those categories, there's differences, and not all water-based are nice. Some are thick and jelly-like, some are more thin and natural feeling, some are sticky, some are not. So it is really about finding something that you like, personal preference. In general, for women who are having vaginal dryness and pain, especially with low estrogen, I would avoid products that have additives in there to try to, warm you up. Some of them have peppermint, like minty stuff on there. Now that might feel good for some women, but in general, if you have a vagina or a vulva that's a little on the raw side, that's going to burn, and that's certainly not sexy.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's about finding what you like, and
And not all of them are the same. So it's okay to try one, and if you don't like it, try another one. But Uberlube is a great one. Another water-based one, because Uberlube is a silicone-based, but a water-based one is called System Joe. Another one is Pure, but it's spelled P-J-U-R. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money for it to work good. That's the other, I think, myth, is that you don't have to necessarily buy the super expensive ones.
Yeah.
Putting these all in the chats, ladies.
There's one I got from the grocery store like a few years ago. I just picked it up out of necessity, and it's Good Clean Love, and it turned out to be one of my favorite lubes that I use. And I know a lot of people use Sliquid. They have an organics line. A lot of the big ones have organic lines too, because I know a lot of people want to be using. I know there's a lot of questions about organic, so just like looking for the products and what's in them. Yeah, especially if you have a sensitive vagina and vulva.
Now, just to go back a little bit.
Yep. I was
Go
just going to
ahead,
say, I love the name because it's called Almost Naked, which is, I just love that.
But just to go back a little bit, I think you guys touched on it, is the importance of self-care. So there are non-sexual self-care practices, like you guys said, that can really aid in the relaxation and helping you get yourself in the mood. What kind of things do you ladies recommend?
I guess I'll go first again, Alyssa. You seem like.
Yeah, I can't see, so I don't want to cut off.
I would say exercise is a big one. There's actually research that shows that exercise is actually good for your libido. People who exercise on a regular basis typically have better libidos. And in women, in fact, if you exercise, having sex right after exercise, like literally, like right after sex, that our response may be much better. So don't discount exercise. And remember, exercise isn't all just about, losing weight. Otherwise, I'd be a size 2. It is about feeling good and just keeping your heart healthy and your muscles healthy and getting good blood flow. And when you feel good, you certainly will be sexually in a better place.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise.
No, I don't know who saw exercise coming.
No, I know. Me and Alyssa were like, huh, okay.
I love that though. Explain certain why I might be desiring sex after I work out, and now I have an understanding of why that is, because I feel good. I would say anything that feels nourishing to you. And I think for a lot of times, especially for women, it's like there's this like selflessness, which I think is absolutely bullshit, of like putting everyone else's needs first. You have to take time to nourish yourself, number one, whatever that looks like, whether it's taking a bath, making yourself a snack or a meal that feels good for you, watching a show, reading a book, going for a walk, putting on some music and just moving however your body wants to. That can really like tap into that part of you. But also receiving nourishment from other people. So this like very individualistic push of like we have to give ourselves all the love that we want. Yes, and we're meant to be in community. So receiving that love and nourishment and support from other people, not just like intimate partners, but people in our lives, asking them to pour into us, to help us, just to like take the pressure off of doing everything, because the fastest way to kill your libido is to be stressed out, to feel like you have a million things to do. And now all of a sudden, anything to take care of yourself is like one more thing on your to-do list you can't do. So I think that that's really important, of like setting dedicated time and being like, this is really important that I feel nourished and taken care of, because it will change the way I show up to my life. And it changes our relationship to sex, of saying like, I deserve pleasure. And this is for me too, to feel really, really good, versus, I guess I should do this, because I have to. That's the opposite of the point of it.
Interesting enough, research has shown that women, we're much more social than men. And so the fact that we get to talk like this and hang out with women is actually healthy for us. And when we do more of it, we're better, which is the scary part right now with COVID, that women are not feeling as connected to their girlfriends because they can't go out for their Friday night wine. And, you know, it's really been a challenge. So, you know, the best we can do is to try to spend time as much as we can with those we love and stay as social as we can. The only other thing I would add is also practicing mindfulness and allowing yourself an opportunity to sort of shut off and breathe. And especially in the trying times that we're in, we really sort of have to allow ourselves the grace to be quiet and heal within ourselves.
I love it. And I'll say we had one of our baddies, she was on an episode of Baddies Talk Back, and she talked about doing things that made her feel sexy even when she wasn't in a relationship, when she was by herself. She talked about getting out of the tub and lotioning herself and putting on certain perfumes and wearing lingerie, and all those things that she did by herself made her feel sexy whether or not she was with somebody else. And I think that's really important as well.
Yeah.
100%. I have so many nude pictures in my phone that are just for me. Like, they're never going to be sent. I don't ever let anyone touch my phone because I'm like, it's not safe. So like doing this just for you, you deserve that.
I have pictures of myself, and I would say, you know, for those of us who are not comfortable with that, that's okay.
Yes. Well, ladies, if you can believe it, we have entered the end of our first segment. Both of you were absolutely awesome. I learned some new stuff tonight, and I'm like super psyched because that means we get to go on to another segment and learn some more awesome stuff. Thank you so much, ALYSSA and Dr. Thielen. We appreciate you guys being a part of the conversation.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
And you ladies, you can stick around or you can sign off. Oh, okay, we're good. Did you learn anything new, Marissa?
Yeah, like, I mean, especially the exercise one, that was good. And the different types of lubes, I want to try that and see how that is. I like knowing just the differences. And I know that there's a whole bunch out there, but knowing you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money to get what you want, I'll have to try some of those different ones.
Yeah, I didn't see exercise coming. It was going to be awesome. To be honest with that.
But it makes sense. I mean, I guess you have all that energy. So you might as well do something with it while you have it.
So, ladies, if you learn anything new, please feel free to share with us in the chat. And I just dropped the link to our Breast Cancer Baddies group. It is a group for women of color affected by breast cancer. And you think about it in the spirit of keeping connected with your sisters. That's one of the places that we do it. And that's, like we said, that's one of the places how we learn from each other is keeping connected. So that chat, I dropped that in the chat. Now, on to our next segment. They're going to talk inclusive intimate. So dressing your body, feeling confident and sexy in your body after breast surgery, it can be really difficult. I will tell you guys, after I tried on lingerie for the first time after my mastectomy, like, it made me cry. Like, not just the fact that I was totally different size, that's one part, but just the fact that the lingerie, a lot of lingerie is so, it emphasizes a lot on nipples. Like, I don't have those anymore. And the shape of the breast is really different. And so when I discovered Anna Uno, so I had to show you guys, I'm rocking my Anna Uno bra tonight. And it fits really nicely. And I don't normally wear bras, but if I have to wear one, it's got to be a nice one. And it's soft, so no underwire. And they're sexy as well, and they fit the new vibe. So I'm really excited for this conversation because we have both Dana DONOFREE from Anna Uno and Jasmine Jones for Cherry Blossoms Intimates, and they are doing some incredible things with prosthetics that are really cool. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce Dana, and we can get this party started. So, bringing up my show notes, guys.
Hey,
There's
Dana.
Hi, I was like, I don't know what I look like. I don't know what's going on, but you, Jasmine, look fabulous. And I need a mesh shirt. That is just like, that's the look. That's the look.
Thank you, girl. I'm going to take a cute picture and tag you guys. And then we also have Jasmine Jones, who is the founder and CEO of Cherry Blossom Intimates. It's one of the first of its kind breast health facilities and intimate boutiques. Hello, Jasmine.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Hey, Jasmine. And hey,
Hey, how are you?
going good. I was tuned into the last one. I'm like taking notes over here. We carry lube at Cherry Blossom, actually.
Do you really?
Just a little plug right on our website too. It's aloe based and no glycerin. It's vegan. It's organic. It's amazing. So, oh, and we have bullets. So I'm just
Oh, good to
Well,
know.
What?
yeah.
So like, and so you guys are
It's your
available
one-stop
online too.
shop, ladies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So that is awesome. So now, Dana, you work very specifically for like empowering women in their bodies after a breast cancer diagnosis. So why was it important for you to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I was diagnosed myself, it's been 10 years now. I can't even believe I get to say that out loud. Thank you. Thank you. It's feels just bizarre, those words rolling off my tongue. But, you know, 10 years ago when I was diagnosed at 27, it was just like, I didn't feel good in my body. And I'll be completely honest, 10 years later, I don't feel good in my body, right? Like this to me is like a constant part of my process. It's like re-own whatever it is that is left, which we all know is not necessarily a lot. Same Jasmine, like no nipples, scars, all of those things. And it's just like, all I knew was that I didn't feel sexy in a sports bra. That wasn't going to be enough for me. So being a fashion designer my entire life, I started making bras that fit our new reconstructed bodies. And from there, it's just, you know, blossomed into this beautiful, beautiful opportunity. And we like to call ourselves boob inclusive. So that means if you have one breast, two breasts, no breast, or new breast, you know, it's not about the boobs, right? It's about how we feel inside. And I think ALYSSA and the doc just did an incredible job talking about that sometimes just doing things that bring you joy and bring you happiness can also help you feel sexy. And I love that they shared that part because to me, that's everything. So I love feeling good. And when you don't necessarily feel good in your own skin because it's so hard, you got to rely on like other things to be able to do that. So that was why I created Ana Ono. And I'm just so thrilled to get the opportunity to be able to share my talents in ways that help our community.
Yes. Now, Jasmine, you aren't a baddie, but you do have a personal connection to breast cancer. And Cherry Blossoms isn't specific to breast cancer, right? But it is very catering to the needs of a woman that's gone through breast cancer.
Right, that's exactly right. I'm not a breast cancer baddie. I think I'm more of an ally, I guess.
Yes, you're the accomplice. Yep.
Yes, but you know what was interesting was I created this company because I remember my grandmother's shopping experience for bras and prosthetics. And unfortunately, it was always in a medical supply store behind aisles of bedpans and Bengay and walkers. And that's where women were expected to shop for the rest of their lives, or it was in these little mom and pop bra shops, you know, and not to knock it, but it didn't feel like the pre-breast cancer experience of shopping for a bra. I didn't feel like Victoria's Secret, you know what I mean? It felt clinical and it felt kind of sad. And I remember thinking, oh, well, someone should do something about this. And in 2018, I partnered with Dr. Regina Hampton, a breast surgeon and physician in a doctor's community hospital. And she was seeing the same issue with her patients. They were going to these medical supply stores far away from the district. I mean, they live in a major city, but they have to drive 30 miles out. Made no sense. And we said, you know what if we put our minds together and create a more inclusive space, a space where every woman can shop. So for instance, for me, unfortunately, I ended up losing my grandmother to her battle with breast cancer. But for me, it would have been amazing to go for a bra, try on fun shopping experience and have her in one fitting room and me in another fitting room. So that's what we've created for our ladies. We have a 2,000 square foot lingerie boutique right outside of Washington, D.C. We carry bras for all women, whether you've had breast cancer or not. We accept insurance, every major insurance provider, except for one, which we'll probably have before the summer. So we accept it and we handle all billing for you. So you don't have to worry about getting reimbursed, filling out the paperwork and those kind of challenging things. But what makes us really special, as if that wasn't special enough, was that we create custom breast prosthetics using 3D printing. And we can talk more about that. But we're really excited to be able to offer that for our women. And what started as a boutique idea has now sort of become a tech startup. So we closed an investment round, and now we'll be able to reach women outside of the DMV, which we're really happy about. And you have to forgive me, I got a puppy for Christmas. Snoring on my lap, so I don't know if you want to, but he is knocked out. So if you hear some weird gurgling snores, please forgive my little puppy. He's sleeping.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so Dana, one of the cool things about Ana Uno is how inclusive you are to the different types of surgeries and how intentional you were about bras fitting different types of surgeries. Can you tell us a little bit about what women should look for when they're looking for their first bra, especially in your shop, considering their different surgery stages?
Well, I think what's really important, especially after breast surgery, is that you have to seek out comfort. And comfort typically came in very few forms, especially when I was diagnosed. It was sports bras, it was camisoles, or it was wearing nothing at all. So let's not play. There is not a single woman that loves her bras anyways, right? Before breast cancer. So now stacking scar tissue, surgery, pain points, shoulder pain, all of these things on top of each other just get really compounded. And then you get complicated fittings. Jasmine is totally right. Walking into that mastectomy boutique, makes you want to cry before you even open up the door. That's not okay. We've been totally trying to reinvent that. We were the first mastectomy bra sold on the internet. Why? Because those lingerie stores said that women with breast reconstruction didn't want bras. That if you weren't wearing a breast form, you didn't need a bra after breast cancer. I mean, this is it's so ingrained in the way that we've been treated as patients for so long that you really have to break the mold. And I'm so stoked that we're finally cutting through and breaking the mold. Because now that we have options, right? Plethora of options, really, which is so exciting. You can get underwire free bras. Sometimes that works for some women, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on your size and your shape. So I do recommend, though, if you've reconstructed, size up in a traditional bra line that's not made for you. That's because those implants, the flap surgeries, anything that's been rebuilt does not squish or move around or lift and separate and do all of those things that natural breasts do. And I also think too that obviously if you can get a breast cancer driven line, I mean, we uniquely design our products exactly for this customer. So we can talk about all the pain points and all those issues, but the reality is too, sometimes you just want to run into Target and get a bra, right? Sometimes you just got to be there. You don't know, you could be on the road, you could be having a hot date and you just need a source. So you really want to find things that are underwire free. Avoiding molded cups where possible, because you're right, Jasmine, you said that earlier, you have these pockets and air bubbles where your nipples used to be. It's just it's another negative reminder that you're different now and that things in your life are different. And so I really try to remove all of those issues, knowing that I want somebody to put an Ana Uno on and be wow, this was made for me. I can tell the difference. And in doing so, that just builds your confidence, it helps you feel better, it helps you feel stronger and empowered. And two, another big issue that we deal with a lot is post-pain syndromes that are caused through mastectomies, caused through radiation treatments, caused through sort of all of these subsets of surgery that happen well beyond the surgical phase. And I think too, those are also really important. So you always want really soft things against your skin, not scratchy laces, itchy materials, because once you actually feel it, if you hit one of those spots where you actually feel it, you'll just inflame. And all of your nerves will say, oh my God, what is this thing and why is it hurting me? And you really want to make sure that that's what you're looking for. And I think that those are great options. If you're flat, look for couplet styles, look for little camisoles, layering tanks, things like that. If you're flat on one side, same thing. I mean, we love our unilateral and flat customers, because just because you're missing a breast doesn't mean you still don't want sexy, beautiful lingerie. So, it could be pocketed for the breast form if you want it or not. one of our beautiful models on our website, Jamie Lee. We love her because we tell her, she tells everybody she swings both ways, which really just means she's fabulously flat. And sometimes she puts in her forms and she's got boobs. Like, it's really an accessory to her. And I think that that's so awesome that we've progressed enough to say that, like, you are a woman, you need 2 boobs. Like, that moment is changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have one breast removed and you don't want to replace it with a breast prosthetic, you don't have to. There's nothing that requires you in all of your health to wear a breast form. It doesn't. So if you want one, great. But if you don't feel forced to have to get one, like in the world of breast cancer. So I just think that that's like an awesome movement that we're making, that like we really do have choices. You have choices on how you accessorize, wear a boob, don't wear a boob, make your boobs, don't make your boobs. I just always think it's so important to make the choices that are right for you and feel empowered after doing so. And that's really, you know, what makes things sexy.
Yeah. What about women that, like myself, who have had like a lumpectomy? Because I know that a lot of women like myself have had lumpectomies. And so even for us, sometimes it's hard to find a bra that's comfortable or fitting.
I can pass this over to Jasmine. I know that Marissa, you and I have talked about this a few times, especially because of your cup size. And I will say that larger busted women, that's a challenge, because typically the lumpectomy is somewhere in that breast fold that is actually also where an underwire fits. And then you go into bra making for larger busts, of which case are often underwire. But Jasmine, any insight for you? I mean, we go up to a triple D, which helps, but that's not everybody. I mean, we have women come in at GH.
Right.
We go up to a 56 band and an O cup in the boutique. So we scan across every size, and there are bras that we carry that are comfortable, that are wire free for girls above a triple D, above a G cup. All of our fitters are actually trained in fitting women who've had lumpectomies as well. So anyone can help you with that. There are 2 that I love the most. One is by Evelyn and Bobby. It's called the Defy Bra. Not sure if you heard of it, but it's super comfortable. It's our #1 selling bra. It's only $68. We can't keep it on the shelves. I think we're one of the, I don't want to quote it, but I know we're one of the top sellers in the nation in terms of a boutique that sells their 3X sizes. We keep them in stock all the time. And I've seen a 3X go for maybe like a H or an I cup girl. So I would recommend that. It's a really comfortable bra. It lifts, it gives you definition. It comes in a lot of colors, and it even comes in different skin tones, different shades of nude. And the second one we offer is, we call it the Netflix bra, because we say you can chill in it. But it's Cotton Luxe Bra by Curvy Couture. It's also on our website. It comes in beautiful colors. It's a cotton bra with slings to hold you in and get you supported. And then it has a satin band. So right around your underbust, it's satin covered. So it's really soft. All of our girls who've had lumpectomies love those 2 bras, and those are their top choices. We try to keep women who've had lumpectomies out of wire bras, like Dana was saying, just because it's really uncomfortable for them. That rubbing is just not the way to go. So if you guys are in the area, definitely stop by, or you can pick it up on our website as well. But I'd recommend something wire-free, super stretchy, and preferably with a covered band.
And I'll say one thing that you guys both mentioned, and I really didn't I get the importance of the experience until I led support groups for young women with breast cancer in Jacksonville through the Young Survival Coalition. And we went to Soma because Anna Uno had just gotten into Soma, and that the bra shopping day was like one of our favorite outings. And to be able to go to a quote unquote normal place and have a bra that fit your body, it was really special. So I just commend both of you ladies and the work that you're doing to help women be reconnecting with themselves, but also not feel alone in the process. I think you guys, it's an understated experience, really.
Yeah, because we definitely get a lot of women who comment and are just looking for bras all the time. And we always say, oh, there's, Anna Ono, there's Cherry Blossom, like, here's the link, you should check them out. And it's surprising how many of them like their medical providers or just people that they talk to don't even tell them where to go. They may just be like, well, go to Target. I heard that they have some.
That's exactly where I was sent. Yep. To get the ill-fitting sports bra.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You know,
Don't do that. We're actually gathering data around that. So if any of the listeners have any feedback that they would want to share about where their doctors are sending them and how, oh, there we go, somebody's awake, and how the experience has been from their physicians, please send us a message in our Instagram DMs or send us an email, because we want to hear where they're trying to send you, and how that experience has been and what kind of bras you've been finding there and what would be ideal for you, no matter where you are across the nation. So please don't hesitate to hit us up.
Love it. So now, Dana, we have Cherry Blossom's best-selling bras. What are your best-selling bras right now? What are your best-selling bras? Doesn't have to be a bra because you've got some new stuff. What is your best-selling stuff?
You know, I have to tell you, well, we definitely have a few best-selling bras. Not sadly, I won't say that, but our best-selling bra is honestly our front closure bra, which is not sexy, but is super comfortable and 100% perfect for the post-surgery recovery. So I'm going to say that because that is like one segment. But after that, like our hottest ticket right now is the Susan bra. And I think the reason why Susan is so sexy, and I'd love to just share with the community that every bra on our website is named after one of the incredible breast cancer afflicted models that are on our website or have walked in a show or had some effect in our life. So when I talk about Susan, I also talk about Susan, which is also really fun for me, but it's just super sexy and so simple. And again, it's like the perfect lace bra for 1 to none or new breasts. So if you're flat on one side, it lays super flat against the skin. If you're a double D, it's still like a rock solid option, just doesn't have a lot of support. And if you want to wear breast forms, it's pocketed so you can put your breast forms in it. And that is like super awesome effect to it. And I got to tell you, these new lounge pants I just launched, woo! I am telling you, they are like butter. So they're just so comfy. And the hidden secret is they have pockets on the inside of the waistband. So if you are using them for recovery, you drop your drains in the waistband. But if you're not, they're just beautiful, sexy modal lounge pants. So all the materials I use are top line. And it's just so important to like feel like you're wrapped in luxury at a very achievable price point.
I mean,
and both of you have yes, everyone loves a pocket. And both of you have robes for drains, because that's one of the top questions that people ask in our Facebook group. What do you do with your drains? And I'm like, I like not bobby pin. I like paper clips. What safety pin? I safety pin them to my shirts, and they like rip some nice holes in these nice loungy shirts. Yeah, but you guys have really nice, sexy, comfortable robes that women can wear.
Yes. Well, we have robes for immediate post-surgery. So they have the pockets on the inside of the robes offered by the Bro brand, which we carry in boutique. But another thing you could do, we have these shower belts where they're like drain holding belts. You just clip it around your waist, the drains will go inside, and then you can wear any robe you want. You can wear silk and satin and lace again and feel, hot and sexy, and not have to pin your drains to the inside of your We're trying to get everybody out of that.
You're like, what do you do? I can tell you what I did. So, ladies, are there any, wait. I have to ask Jasmine, tell us about the work that you're doing with your prosthetics, because I was scrolling through your website and I was seeing stuff like I didn't even know they had prosthetics like this. So for women that do want to have prosthetics, what kind of options do you guys carry?
Right. So we carry two. One is a traditional off-the-shelf prosthetic that you're probably familiar with. They come in about 17 different sizes, and they come in two colors, like a beige and a cocoa brown. We keep the cocoa brown in stock because a lot of our girls are cocoa brown in color, and they don't want to wear a beige prosthetic anymore. It's 2021. Come on. So we offer that as an option. But secondly, and what makes us really, really special is our offering of custom breast prosthetics. So using 3D printing technology, we can build a woman a breast that looks like the one she's had before her cancer experience. And they come, I know, baby, they come in 36 different skin tones. 36 different skin tones, and we can even add freckles or veins if she'd like.
Wow.
We can customize her nipple. We can make it any size that she feels most comfortable with. Or if she says, hey, look, I don't want a nipple. We've had a lot of girls who are like, I haven't had a nipple in so long. What kind should I get? So we have all options for women, but the great thing about the custom prosthetic is you can wear it inside of any bra. So it doesn't have to be inside of a post-mastectomy bra or a pocketed bra. It could be in one of our strapless options. It could be in a halter style. It can fit inside of the bra that you just love the most. And that way you can get back to feeling like yourself. So it's completely customizable. Again, we handle the insurance piece of it, so you don't have to worry about that. We take that pain point away from you. The insurance company pays us directly, so you don't even have to worry. And all of it can come to your door in about 6 weeks. So get it down to 4 weeks, which is really special. And our girls have loved it. And then the best thing about prosthetics is that they're renewable. So, and the same thing with your bras for your reimbursement, your insurance has to by law pay for your bras. So ladies, don't don't go in there naively. Just make sure tell them Jasmine told you. Because the thing about it, no one told my grandmother that her bras and prosthetics were covered. So my parents were paying out of pocket, and those things are expensive.
They're expensive.
So, but by law, no matter who your insurance provider is, they have to cover the cost of your prosthetics and your post-surgical bras if you've had a mastectomy. So please let us help you. We're definitely here for that. And we hope to be coming to your city no matter where you are very soon.
And Dana, your bras, your lines are also covered by insurance, correct?
Yeah, so I love that Jasmine plugged that so hard, because people aren't told that their bras are covered by insurance. So typically they cover about 4 to 6 bras a year, which is a great substantial amount of product, especially when you're throwing your entire underwear drawer away. So we actually, hopefully Jasmine and I didn't connect beforehand, but I'm going to nudge her a little bit afterwards. We'd love to partner up and help all of you out. But we also have an online intake form where you can actually apply for your insurance online and even do a virtual fitting. So we can get you exactly into what you need, what's best for your body, what's going to be suited for any pain points that you have or any challenges that you're facing. And, if you're wearing breast forms or not wearing breast forms. So we're always there to help with that service as well. And, help walk through the insurance. Just make sure that you're asking your doctors for a prescription of an L8000 bra. That's really the trick. You need that before you fill out online. You need it before you walk into a boutique in most cases. So if you can get it at your doctor, at your doctor's appointment, that's really a time saver.
Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a breast surgeon, right? It can be your primary care doctor that can write those prescriptions.
It could be your gynecologist. It could be your general physician every year. Like literally anybody can write this prescription for you, which makes it beautiful. They just don't know what it is.
Yeah. And we actually have the prescriptions that we can issue you from the website. So you can download it and then take it to your doctor, and they can just sign it, and you just bring it in up to your appointment, and then we handle it from there. So we try to make it easy for you. It can be tough. No one tells you all of your options. So definitely, I hope everybody is taking notes here about, what Dana and I are both doing to drive the needle and make it easier for everyone.
Absolutely. You guys are both super incredible, super awesome, super innovative, and you're trailblazing for women, and it's incredible.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we're getting really close to the end of our session. Ladies, any news or any new product releases we need to keep an eye out for?
Dana?
Well, I've got something that's coming way close up for the breast of us. So you're going to have to hold a little bit tighter to see what's coming out. But I'm super excited to let you all know that we are launching an incredibly sexy line. It's launching next Friday. The campaign is just so beautiful. It's called Underneath, because for us in this community, it's not what's underneath our clothing, it's what's underneath our lingerie. And we're going to show that and share that and empower each other, because those are the moments that mean the most to us. So of course, if you guys want to pop on to AnaOno.com, if you want to wait till next Friday for the big launch, please do that. But use For the Breast of Us at checkout for 15% off. And I think, Jasmine, you're going to drop a link in the chat, and any purchase you guys make through that link, 10% goes back to For the Rest of Us. So save it, save that link, put it in your pocket, tab it on your toolbar, because that's going to be how we support For the Rest of Us as we launch this incredible campaign, and hopefully there's more to come.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I tell people, like, so I got a divorce this last year, and I threw out all of that lingerie because I'm like, we're not going to use those again. We're going to get all new stuff.
Yeah, girl.
I'm excited to get like all new stuff. And yeah, I think everyone's going to love the new stuff.
Awesome.
Cherry Blossoms, Jasmine?
Yeah, we actually have a promo code called awareness. If you log onto our website right now, you'll get 15% off of cherryblossomintimates.com. We have a new site, so it makes it even easier to shop. Did you guys been on
I was
it?
going to mention that when I went. I was like, your new site looks awesome.
Thank you.
It looks
Thank you. It has
amazing.
a digital fit finder too, so it finds your size and your size equivalent on the site, which is great. And then coming up in Q3, we'll be launching a brand new brand that is those virtual fittings for our girls, and really a way for us to reach all the girls across the nation. So definitely stay tuned and keep posted. And don't be surprised if we look a little different come October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, because we're shaking it up. So we're really excited about that.
Ooh, so
Yeah,
make
I'm
sure that
excited.
you're following both ladies on social media. Ladies, what are your plugs? What are your handles? How can they follow you?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Cherry Blossom Intimates, on Facebook, Cherry Blossom Intimates USA, and on Twitter, CB Intimates. And then I'm Jasmine in DC everywhere. So JSMINEINDC. And then, of course, cherryblossomintimates.com. Use that code awareness, save 15% off on your bullet, and on your lube, and on your sexy robes and your shower dream belt, because we got you on all those.
Love it, love it. Anna, what are your plugs for Anna and Anna? Where can they find you?
Oh, please, you can follow us on any social media outlet that you prefer, even on TikTok now. So at Anna Ono Intimates, and then I myself am Dana Dono on Instagram, but with a Y. So I really make it silly.
So wait a minute, I have to say one more thing before we let you ladies go. So I remember I was doing a panel with you, and you said tell us how you came up with the name for Anna Uno.
Oh, so it's a version of my name, Dana DONOFREE, but without the double D's.
That tickled me so much. Love the
If you actually knew me before breast cancer, though, I would be lucky to even say I was a B cup. So that makes the joke even funnier for my friends that actually knew me. They're like, "Oh, Dana, you're cute."
They'll never know. They'll never know. Ladies, thank you so much.
Yes.
We've enjoyed this time with you. Both of you are incredible. We are so happy to be on here with two other boss babes, getting some amazing things done for women in our community. And we hope to stay in touch. Let's do some more incredible things together.
Yeah, so make sure you guys all follow them, check out their sites, go purchase some bras. Find
And
out what
other things.
Right.
I like the other. I'm gonna go use that code at Cherry Blossom right now, actually.
Right.
Bye, ladies.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you so much. All right. So that was awesome.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes, I'll definitely have to go to both of the sites and check them out, get some stuff. I need some of those lounge pants, especially with COVID now. That's all I've been in usually. It's just some leggings or sweats or lounge pants.
And Anna also has this cute little romper that I've been eyeing for a minute, and I missed it when it was on sale. So gonna try again. So we are heading into our last segment. Ladies, we want to hear from you. What are you learning? What are you liking? Any questions you have as we're going through this, because we don't get it answered here. Well, we're going to get an answer after the fact.
Yeah.
We are going to head into our last segment. The time always goes by so fast when we're together.
It really does. We get to talking about all kinds of different things.
And it's just good girl time, I think. So I love it. I love it. I love it. So our last segment is on sex and intimacy. And I will tell you guys that I found Dr. Jordan Rullo, and I'm going to do her real introduction, but I found her at a YSC virtual summit, and some of the information that she gave literally like changed my life, my perspective. Whereas I was thinking that I was broken, she just brought up things like no one had to ask. She just brought up things like that happens.
Right.
This happens, and it made me feel, not only did I feel empowered with information, so that I knew that there were things that I could change that I thought couldn't be changed, but just the fact that it was brought up without anyone having to ask kind of confirmed that I wasn't in it alone.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
So our Dr. Jordan Rullo, PhD, ABPP, is a board-certified clinical health psychologist, certified sex therapist through the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists, and certified Gottman therapist. She is an adjunct assistant professor at the Department of Clinical Psychology at the University of Utah and has a private practice in Salt Lake City. Her areas of specialty include sexual health concerns, sexual health related to menopause and cancer, and transgender health. Academically speaking, her most favorite thing to talk about is sexual health. Let's welcome Dr. Jordan Rullo to the screen.
So can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I know you can't see me because GoToWebinar is not liking my webcam. Let's see. Oh, wait, the organizer would like you to, so I click share my webcam, and then it says give the camera access. I go to open system preferences, and it's just not an option. I was having a hard time with my microphone too. I reset the computer. I got the mic to work. So my only thought is, one, maybe you all just don't get to see my lovely face and you just get to hear me, and you can pretend that you are me and do an interpretive pretend of all my hand gestures because I use my hands a lot. Or two, if you give me another minute, I will restart my computer again and see if that can kick in, somehow get it to access the webcam. How do you want to do it?
So we can actually go right through. We had a little camera issue earlier, and she called in and we were all good. So if you're okay, we're okay.
Okay. So you all can't see me, but I look really good today.
See, that's what
everybody's telling us that.
We actually had Dr. Thielen on earlier, and she said that you and her used to work together.
Yes.
And she was the one with the camera issue, so maybe it's you guys. You guys are syncing up.
I know. Yeah.
Gotta be go-to meetings, not letting everybody be great today.
I know. Well, I'm glad you all can hear me. At least we got that. So thank you for having me. I know, Jasmine, you sent a bunch of different questions, and I'm happy to jump into those. I'm also happy to just take questions from the audience and jump into those. Like, how should we get this party started?
So we're going to jump into one of the questions from the list, and I think this is a great place for us to start because, and it's basically the fact that intimacy is not exclusive to sex. And I don't think a lot of people talk about that. So I really want you to open up this sex and intimacy conversation with a good understanding of what intimacy actually is.
Okay, great question. So yeah, intimacy is not exclusive to sex, but oftentimes the words sex and intimacy are, they're used as the same word. Like, oh, we're gonna have some intimacy tonight. Well, actually that could mean like a ton of different things. So just to kind of list off a number of different ways to be intimate besides sex, there's recreational intimacy. I mean, think about the intimacy that you experience when you go on a hike with someone else, or you do like an adventure and activity together. There is intellectual intimacy. So when you have like a really deep intellectual conversation, there's emotional intimacy. There's spiritual intimacy. There is intimacy that comes with conflict. When you've got kind of a good, healthy argument with someone, it often brings you two closer together. You've learned more about each other. There is intimacy in being creative together. So there are so many different ways to be intimate. And I think the pitfalls that many of us fall into, and that I see a lot of clients that I see in my office fall into, are they just say, well, intimacy is sex. And so if we're not having sex, that means that we're not having intimacy. And there is, but gosh, there are so many other ways to be intimate beyond just sex. And even if we take sex is just an umbrella. There is sexuality, there is sensuality, there's physical connection and touch. So it's not just about a particular sexual behavior. There's so many ways to be intimate physically as well.
Yes, that, and I think that is a great point. And I think especially when we're going to talk about this a little later when you talk about painful sex, and how that can cause a disconnect in a relationship. But I think a lot of that disconnect is not understanding that there are different forms of intimacy and having intimacy solely rely on sex.
Exactly. Yep.
And how do you like foster in those different types of intimacy? Because I've been thinking about that a lot too, just kind of getting back into the dating game. Like, how do you foster in that type of intimacy besides sex?
So one of the questions I would have for you or anyone who has this question you just had, I'd ask you to think about is of all those different types of intimacy, and I know I just listed a bunch, but of all those different types, what are the ones that are most important to you that you, if you could kind of put a scale of 0 to 10, 0 not at all important, 10 extremely, 2 scales. One is how important is this to you? And then 2, how much are you getting this in your life or in your relationship? And if you realize, oh, wow, you know, intellectual intimacy is really important to me, and I'm actually not getting a lot of that. So then it's okay, well, how do I get intellectual intimacy? Well, it's sparking conversations with someone. It's going to a really good movie with someone, and after we're talking about it and really kind of analyzing it. So it's thinking about what's most important to me and what am I not getting enough of in my life, and then getting creative about what are activities that could bring some of that. Really prioritizing the space to develop some of that and getting creative about, now you've got the space prioritized, how do you bring it about? My favorite, I live in Utah. Recreational intimacy is just like abundant because of all these mountains. So for me, it is a lot of hiking and skiing and just kind of being with nature with someone else.
Is there a resource, is there a place where women can look at the different types of intimacy and try to figure out, or like a quiz that they can figure out, like, this works best for me?
There is, and I don't know if we have the opportunity to send things to the audience members, but it's an old handout, but I have this handout of all different types of intimacy with those scales. And you fill it out. The person that you want to create intimacy with fills it out as well. And then you kind of say, okay, well, what's our action plan? What do we want to do here? So I'm happy to send that handout. It is an old handout. Or you really can Google just like, what are the different types of intimacy?
Okay, you can send us the handout and we'll make sure that we send it on to the ladies.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's not a pretty handout, but it gives you the information.
That's all we need.
Okay.
So one of the top questions that we all like, I mean, it came in, and if you're on hormone therapy or if you're in menopause, then sex drive after cancer, it kind of takes a dip. And it was in your webinar that I learned that there's different types of sex drive, and one of them we can actually control a little bit more than the other one. So can you tell us about sex drive? Oh yes, this is one of my favorite topics. Okay, so there are 2 different types of sex drive, like you just mentioned, and the first one is called spontaneous sex drive. And this is the one when, you know, if any of us even got sex education, this is the one we were probably taught. This is the one we see in movies. This type of sex drive is the type of sex drive where you just spontaneously are like, you know, I really want to have sex right now. So that's spontaneous sex drive. Then the second type of sex drive is called receptive sex drive. And here's what this one looks like. With this one, you're sexually neutral. Sex is not on your mind. You're not thinking about it, but the right ingredients are in place that allow you to be receptive to sexual activity. And so maybe those ingredients are, you've got good energy, you're feeling good about your body, there's privacy, you're not stressed out, and then your partner initiates and you think, well, I wasn't on my mind, I wasn't thinking about having sex, but okay, yeah, I'd be receptive. And then what happens is, as things get started, as your body starts to get aroused, then your mind goes, oh, well, yeah, you know what? I kind of like this. This is a good idea. Why don't we do this more often? So that's receptive sexual desire. So we got spontaneous sexual desire and receptive sexual desire. They are different. They are equally important. And unfortunately, in society, in sex education, we just are not taught about this receptive sexual desire, although it is equally important. So I want to go, because Jasmine, you said like one of them we can kind of control and one we kind of can't. And so I want to dive into that a little bit more. If you think about receptive desire, again, it's about cultivating the ingredients to put you in a place where you are receptive.
So one of the key one of the key next steps, let's say you're saying, oh, my sex drive has lowered. One of the next best steps is to really figure out, well, what's changed? I'm sure there's a lot of things that have changed, but what ingredients would need to be in place for me to be more receptive? And sometimes it is, I do need more sleep, or I do need to feel better about my body, or I'm really afraid of what my partner is going to think about my body, so I've been kind of avoiding. I mean, what are some of those things that hit the brake pedal when it comes to your receptivity to being sexual? And speaking of the brake pedal, I want to kind of introduce you to something that sounds really not exciting, but it is actually incredibly exciting. It's called the dual control model. And what the dual control model says is for all of us, when it comes to our sexual function, especially when it comes to our sexual desire, you can think about it being comprised of a brake pedal and a gas pedal. And in order for you to feel desire, you need to have more on your gas than on your brake, which makes sense, but let's go through this a little bit more. The things that hit the brake pedal are some of the things that I mentioned. Maybe you're not sleeping very well, you're not feeling good about your body image, you are stressed out. So those are all brake pedal things. You're in pain. Those are all brake pedal. Gas pedal. Gas pedal is you are feeling really good about your body. There is, you've got good energy. You are feeling just happy in general. The person that you're being sexual with, you find them really attractive. Those are all gas pedal things. Now, if we think about this as a car, now imagine this is a car, brake pedal, gas pedal, and you've got your foot all the way on that brake pedal. So that brake is pushed all the way to the floor. And then you decide you want to put your foot on the gas pedal now. What's going to happen to your car?
You're not going to go anywhere. You're still out.
Right.
Yeah, you're not going to go anywhere. So what this tells us is if you have a ton of stuff on your brake pedal, then it doesn't matter how much you put your foot on that gas pedal. And so if you think about this in relation to sexual health, if you have a ton of brakes on your brake pedal for your sexual desire, but the way you're trying to get your desire back is, well, let's do date nights. Let's just put stuff on the gas. Let's light some candles. Maybe I'll wear some lingerie. It's not going to help. It will help in the future. It's going to help once you can get some stuff off the brake. So most women who come into my office, their mind has really been focused on putting stuff on the gas. Well, I'm going to get my desire back if I can put stuff on the gas. And that's actually not the best place to start. The best place to start is let's look at your brake. What's on your brake? Let's remove as much as possible off that brake, and then we can be thinking about gas pedal.
Love it. I think that is great insight, especially when it comes to sex drive, because I mean, let's just be honest, ladies, it's stressful. A cancer diagnosis is stressful. And when your body is different, you're not just dealing with the stress of maybe the finances, maybe the treatments, maybe the schedule, but if you have a partner, then there might be pressure. And so if you don't and this is why we ordered things the way we did, to start with self-care before we got to sex and intimacy with partner, because we want you guys to just be more mindful about really taking things off the brake, the things that you can control off the brake.
And I want to add a little bit more. Can I say more about sex drive?
Please do.
I get excited talking about sex drive. So another really important piece is when we think about this receptive desire. If I could show you my screen, I would show you this model of receptive desire. So instead, I wanted to kind of paint a picture for you.
Do you want to show your screen?
Well, I don't know if I can. Can I show? If I can't show my face, I don't know if I could show my screen.
Yeah, let's see. I might try to give keyboard and mouse and make a presenter. Let's see. Yes. Okay, you might be able to share your screen now.
Let's see. What can you see?
Let's make another attendee. Let's see. Presenter. Yeah, guys, we're trying this live right now.
Well, while you're trying, I'll start to paint the picture. And if we can get the picture, great. But if not, then you'll just have to use my descriptive words.
Okay.
So this receptive desire, if you think about it, imagine kind of a circle in your mind. There's a circle. And this receptive desire is based on this circle. In order to jump in this circle is your sexual response. So if you're sexually responding, this circle is moving, it's rolling along. In order to jump into this circle, a few things need to happen. One, there needs to be some sort of sexual stimuli. Maybe that is a partner initiating. Maybe you don't have a partner. Maybe it's you see something really sexy on television and you're like, ooh, that's reminding me of something. Or you've got a really hot book that you're reading and you decide to pick up the book. There needs to be something that kind of gets your mind thinking about sex, some sort of sexual stimuli. Okay, so now that circle's starting to go around the corner. Then the next thing is biologically and psychologically, there needs to be no major brakes on the brake pedal. Biologically, you don't have a major headache, you're not in pain. Psychologically, you're not stressed or depressed. So no major brakes on the brake pedal. Okay, now that circle is continuing, you're kind of going along the track. What comes next is sexual arousal. So if you can imagine this, typically when we think about desire, we think, well, the first thing that happens when you have desire is you just kind of say, I want to have sex. And then that kind of gets everything rolling, but not with receptive desire. With receptive desire, you don't start thinking, I just want to have sex right now. With receptive desire, there's got to be something that kind of sparks the sex idea in your mind, whether that's you or whether that's a partner. Something kind of sparks the idea. As long as you've got all those right ingredients in place, there's nothing major hitting the brake pedal. Then what happens next is your body gets aroused. If those right places are being touched, the body starts to get aroused, blood flow to the genitals, and then on the heels of that, your mind goes, oh, now I think I want this. So this is really important because that spontaneous sex drive that I talked about earlier, that starts with, if you think about it having its own cycle, that cycle starts with, I want to have sex right now. Mm-hmm. But this receptive desire cycle does not start that way. It starts with, sex has to be queued up in some way. Again, maybe it's your partner initiating, maybe it's a sexy book you're reading. It has got to be queued up. The right ingredients need to be in place. Then your body responds, and then your mind says, oh, I think I do want this. So a lot of times, especially if it's a heterosexual couple, so if you have a male partner and he's coming from this spontaneous model, he's not understanding, well, why don't you initiate? Why aren't you telling me you want to have sex? I'm telling you I want to have sex. It's because he's coming from a different place. His desire starts with, I want to have sex, but your desire is, here's a better way to describe it. His is more like a microwave. Put it in, boop, 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 30 seconds, it is hot. But if your main desire is more of that receptive desire, more that it has to get going, and then your mind goes, oh yeah, this is nice. You're more of a crock pot. It's a slower process. The ingredients need to be in place. The ingredients need to simmer a bit. And then as soon as your body starts to get aroused, then your mind says, oh yeah, I'm into this. Okay, yeah, I like this. And the next thing is we follow this circle. So now your mind says, yep, I like this. Then there's some sort of emotional and physical satisfaction that you're getting out of it. Maybe it's just emotionally you're feeling really close to the person you're being sexual with. Or maybe it's the orgasm, that physical satisfaction from the orgasm. That leads you to then feeling really close, whether you're feeling really close with your partner or you're feeling really close with yourself. This is solo sexual activity, but that leads to some level of intimacy. And it's that intimacy that leads you then to seek out and to be receptive towards some sort of sexual stimuli in the future. So it's a whole circular cycle. Each piece needs to be there. And it doesn't start as simple as the spontaneous sex drive. Again, that spontaneous sex drive just starts with, well, I want to have sex right now. Where this receptive sex drive is much more like a crock pot.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You have some great analogies tonight, Dr. Rullo. I'm like, man.
And so guys, like we were looking for your questions in the chat and it looks like you were putting them in the questions. So we can see them now. Sorry, we're gonna go at the end and run through some of those. But yes, everyone is saying that these are great analogies, Dr. Rose.
People are loving the microwave and the crock pot.
Yeah. Whatever makes it easier so we can all, figure it out. It's like, okay, I get that. I get it.
So if you have a partner whose main desire is that spontaneous desire, if you have a partner who the way things gets kickstarted is they say, hey, you want to have sex right now? Like they don't like, it's real quick. They don't need a whole crock pot situation. What is most helpful is to share with them to say, you know what, my desire is different. I have more of a receptive desire. We got to talk about what ingredients need to be in place for me, what ingredients need to be put in that crock pot, need to simmer for a while. That is going to increase the likelihood of me being receptive toward your sexual advances. And that does not mean that your desire is any less right, or that your partner's desire is better, that spontaneous desire is better. One is not better than the other. They're just different. So the important part is communicating with your partner, hey, this is what I need. Can we do this a little differently? I'll be more receptive if I can get the ingredients simmering for a while.
Now, speaking of communicating with your partner, there were a few women that left comments about maybe feeling guilty, about not knowing going into a new relationship. How do you tell someone that lube is necessary in your current relationship? Like, how do you encourage empathy for the changes that are happening in your body? How do you have these kinds of conversations?
Yeah, I mean, specifically, if we go to the like, how do you introduce lube into a new dating situation? And whether it be lube or any other sexual device, really, let's just talk about lube for a moment. The best way to do this is to just make it a part of the sexual experience. With lube, you can say like, hey, I'm bringing this in and this is going to make this more fun. Actually, what we know with lube from the research is one of the top reasons women use lube is to increase sexual pleasure. So it's not just for vaginal dryness. There's a large percentage of women who use lube who are 18 and older and are using it just to have better pleasure. We know lube actually increases, helps you feel better orgasms. So lube is not just about, I have this vaginal dryness and so I have this deficiency and so now I have to use this thing. Think about it more as this is going to make this experience more fun for both of us. And if you can bring it into the start of the sexual experience, saying, hey, this is going to be more fun for us, whether it's lube or a toy, if this is going to be more fun for us, make your partner a part of it. Whether you have a male partner or a female partner, it doesn't matter. Put the lube on them. So put a little on them, put a little on you. The lube will make the experience more fun. So I think if you're entering the sexual experience thinking, oh, I'm inadequate, I have to use lube, I don't have enough of my own vaginal lubrication, then yeah, like you're already starting the sexual experience feeling pretty unsexy versus, all right, I'm bringing in lube. Lube is going to make this more fun. How do both of us use this? This is going to be more fun for both of us.
Love that. So before we there's so much great information in this last segment. So one of the things that was really helpful to me though, and I want to make sure we get this before everyone leaves, the impact of painful sex and how that can change the dynamics of your relationship. Because I saw this happening in my marriage and I didn't know what to do. I became avoidant. Can you talk about what happens if you continue to have painful sex, how that can change the dynamics of the relationship?
Yes, absolutely. So a few things. There are three, and we know this from the research, and I see this in my practice, there are three dynamics that develop when one partner is experiencing painful sex. And I want to describe all three dynamics. The first dynamic is called a hostile dynamic. And this is where one partner says, no, I'm feeling pain, I don't want to have sex. And the other partner says, you know what, I don't care. We're going to have it whether you want to or not. So that's a hostile dynamic. And as you can guess, that is not good for the short term, and that is sure not good for the long term. Mm-hmm. The second dynamic that I see in my practice, that I see most often, hands down most often, is the avoidant dynamic. And this one looks like this. So the partner with pain says, oh gosh, I don't want to have sex, this is going to be painful. And then the partner says, oh my gosh, well, I don't want to pressure you in any way, so I'm just not going to initiate. So now what we've got here is we've got both people in the couple, no one's initiating sex, they're both avoiding it. Which in a way is really sweet, right? The one person doesn't want to hurt and the other person doesn't want to hurt the other person. So they're both avoiding. But the thing with this avoidant dynamic is it has this really detrimental ripple effect. So in the first part, it's both people avoiding sex. But then the next part, the first ripple, is that non-sexual physical affection that will start to decline because one person thinks, well, I really want to go up and hug and kiss my partner, but I don't want them to think I'm initiating sex because that's going to hurt and I don't want that. Or I really want to go up and hug and kiss her, but I don't want her to think I'm pressuring her, so I'm just not going to. So now that non-sexual physical affection, just the hug, the kiss, the cuddle, that starts to disappear. And then the next ripple is the emotional connection. Over time, without sex, without the physical connection, over time, this is where couples come into my office and they say, we feel like we're just roommates. What is fascinating about this avoidant dynamic is in the long term, it is as damaging to the relationship as the hostile dynamic, which is crazy, right? Because they're coming from totally different places. The hostile dynamic is I don't care how you feel. The avoidant is I care so much, I don't want you to hurt. But over time, they both are as damaging. The third dynamic, the dynamic that I really try to help couples get to is I call it the teammate dynamic. But here's what this one looks like. So the partner with pain says, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. It's going to be painful. And the other partner says, well, I don't want this to be painful. I just want to connect with you. So let's put our heads together and find a different way that we can both connect that works for both of us, that doesn't hurt either of us. And then you both get creative. You create a new sexual menu that works for both of you, or a new physically intimate menu that works for both of you. It's that teammate dynamic that you're really trying to get to. The other thing I'll say about pain and sex is, and I see this so often, so many women I work with just think, well, I just need to grin and bear it. Or maybe if I just power through the pain, it'll eventually go away. And what happens is the more you have sex that's painful, so sex pain, these get connected. So when you even think about sex, what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
Pain.
Pain. So the last thing you want to do if you're having painful sex is to just power through or grin and bear it, because then every time you're having sex and there's pain, you're just strengthening this connection between sex and pain. And we want to stop that. We don't want to strengthen that anymore. So if you're having painful sex, stop. It's not helping. Really, I want you to kind of think about working with your partner as a teammate to find a different solution, to find something more creative that will work for both of you, because continuing to have painful sex is just is probably putting you both in either a hostile or an avoidant dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's what happened. That's what happened for me. And it was interesting because it really started with my mastectomy and the not being able to sleep the way I used to. And then you're sleeping distant. And then when it came to actually having sex is painful. And then I felt like every time I went to touch me, it's like, I don't want to have sex. I don't want to have sex. It's like, don't touch me. And like that decline just started to happen over time. And when you explained it, it was suddenly like an aha moment for me. Like, oh my gosh, this is something that happens. This isn't like something's just wrong with me. Mm-hmm. So that was very helpful. So I guess the best follow-up question to that is, what are some tips for painful sex, to alleviate painful sex?
So a few things. I mean, really, if there is like genital urinary syndrome, menopause, a vaginal atrophy where you do need hormones or estrogen and it's not contraindicated with breast cancer, then yeah, I mean, the gold standard treatment, if you are having some significant vaginal dryness or atrophy, is to get on some local estrogen. But you need to talk to your doctor, make sure your oncologist is okay with that. But let's say it's just kind of low grade discomfort, then absolutely a lubricant, a vaginal lubricant. And a lubricant is different than a moisturizer. So a lubricant is as needed for friction reduction in the moment, whereas a moisturizer, which also can be helpful, is something that you do several times a week. So you can think about a vaginal moisturizer as like a face cream for your vagina. You know, all of us probably wake up each morning and we probably have some sort of face cream regimen, maybe like, some SPF or something for dry skin. Same thing with the vulva and vagina. This moisturizer is like face cream for your vulva and vagina. You put it on every day or a few times a week, and it's the accumulation of putting on that moisturizer that on a daily basis lets your vulva and vagina be just have a lot more lubrication. So you can kind of do both. You can use a lubricant in the moment for sexual activity, put it on you and your partner, make it a fun part of the experience because it does increase pleasure. And on the other days, be using your moisturizer at night, every night, to just make sure you can maintain some of that plumpness and lubrication in the vulva. Then the other pieces are, it may be that the lubrication doesn't work, estrogen's not an option. Then perhaps you need to take whatever that sexual activity is that's causing pain. You might have to take it off the menu. you might have to take it off the menu and consider creating a brand new sexual menu with your partner, a variety of different sexual activities that don't cause pain. I mean, oftentimes I see couples that are so tunnel vision focused on, these are heterosexual couples. Well, it's got to be penis and vagina. If it's not penis and vagina, then it's not sex. What? To me, I think, oh my gosh, things like oral sex are so much more intimate than penis and vagina. Like there are so many different sexual activities people can engage in. So really creating a new sexual menu, if some of those other over-the-counter options like lubricants and moisturizers don't alleviate the pain.
I think those are great tips. Marissa, before we sign off, because I know we have hit our 8:30 mark. Dr. Rullo, is there any final tips or any final takeaways you want women to have before we sign off tonight?
I think the biggest takeaway is that cancer does not take away your sexuality. It does not. It may feel like it. It may feel like it, and it doesn't. It's about having your partner be a teammate in this process. Sex is potentially going to look different. Your body is going to feel different things. If you two can negotiate that and explore, if you can explore, okay, the landscape's different. What else can this look like for us? That is going to be the key.
Love it.
Great.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rullo. We totally appreciate your time.
Sorry you couldn't see how wonderful I look today.
Send us a selfie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all.
You have a great night.
You too.
Bye. Well, ladies, I hope you've learned something. I see questions in the question area. So some of them I have been answering. Some of them I am going to get the information back to you. Some of them I think they were answered during the conversation, which I think is great. Anything you wanna leave the ladies with? Did you learn some stuff tonight?
I mean, I did, especially with the last session about the intimacy, because I've been thinking about that a lot. I think that's good for people, just everyone in general, to learn there's different types of intimacy and to kind of tap into those and see what it's like. So I loved it. But everybody, all the panelists, they were definitely awesome. Good tips.
We had an all-star lineup, I think. I think they were great.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. This is recorded, so we will be making a replay available. And that's it. If you want to follow us, we are on Facebook at For the Breast of Us, Instagram at For the Breast of Us, Twitter at The Breast of Us, and we are breastofus.com. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. You have a great night.
Have a good night.
Let's see. Give me 1 second, Marissa.